Hello and welcome to episode 2 in the brand new series of Let's Play Planet Coaster here on Theme Park Worldwide. Now last week I started off in the first episode by building a few different rides. Of course I put in my traditional scenic railway that I want to be a focal point for the park, centerpiece that can be seen both inside and outside the park. I also built a carousel and a vintage cars ride, and I'll be going back to the vintage cars to add some more landscaping in the next couple of episodes. But yes, welcome to number 2 in the vintage park, and of course it is Christmas Eve, so very Merry Christmas from me and Charlotte and everyone else out there from Theme Park Worldwide. Have a wonderful Christmas, whether you're spending it with friends, family, someone close to you. Maybe you're not celebrating Christmas but you're still spending time with your family. Let me know what you're doing down in the comments below. I would love to know. But yes, this Wild Mouse. Now I absolutely loved the Wild Mouse at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. It was one of my favourite rides. I loved it so much ever since I was a kid. I first rode it in the late 90s, and I thought when I build this vintage park, I've got to have a wooden Wild Mouse. And as much as this layout is going to be nowhere near that of Blackpool, it's a bit of a throwback to it. Just the fact that, you know, it's a seaside park, putting in one of these rides. And unfortunately the ride was removed last winter. We didn't really get any warning about it. It was kind of just done. But, you know, I understand how parks have to move on sometimes. I wish that we'd have known about it more in advance, but we didn't, and the park's moving on with that. We had Icon last year, which of course made up for it, the fact that they've opened the massive new roller coaster the year they took out the Wild Mouse, but it was still a shame, and we've all got fond memories from that ride. I'd like to know down in the comments below, what are your fondest memories from the wooden Wild Mouse at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, or maybe you've got to ride a Wild Mouse at one of the other parks out there, so let me know down in the comments. But yeah, these rides, they're quite sort of rough around the edges, some quite tight corners as you can see here with what I'm building. You know, it's some very like near misses with some of the other supports. I love the support structure on these, they're beautiful actually. I used to love taking photos and video of Wild Mouse just as much as I did enjoy riding it, to be honest, because it was just such a traditional ride. I used to stand up on the balcony at FY4, which is all the food outlets down by the fountains at Pleasure Beach. I used to stand there and look out at the ride and see people being whacked into the corners and thinking, God, you know, they don't build them like they used to. And that's the sort of feel that I want with this ride. You know, that feeling of, oh, you know, it's so rough around the edges, it goes to a corner really fast. I know you can't really tell at the moment because it's sped up whilst I finish the track, but in just a couple of minutes I'll take you along for a full on-ride POV of this Wild Mouse. But yes, let me know your best memories from the ride. I think the reason I enjoyed them so much is the fact that, you know, you were so close to like supports and you were close to hitting things, and it felt like the train was just going to come off the track on the corners. I mean, you get that feeling on a lot of Wild Mouse coasters, the steel ones and spinning Wild Mouse coasters. You know, you get that feel like, oh, you know, we're going to spin off the edge. Of course you're not, because the rides are perfectly safe, but that's what they're designed to do, put that bit of fear in your head and thinking, oh God, you know, we're getting really close here and we're getting some speed on the corners. So I want this to take the corners really quite fast here, you know, and you'll see that when you see the POV. It takes the corners really fast when it's all put together. Now in terms of any theme or anything for this ride, it's going to be another one like the Scenic Railway, where there's no theming around it, just really nice landscaping. We'll have a nice station building with all like a bit of the turrets and stuff on the corners I want to put onto it, you know, like traditional. Also a Wild Mouse sign I'm going to add on there as well. You know, just very traditional, very classic. Like I said with this, it is an amusement park, not a theme park. I did say that in episode 1. There's not really going to be themed areas. I mean, some of the buildings and things might sort of follow a certain theme in an area, but it's not going to be like, you know, this is Wild West, for example, you know. But yes, as you can see, let's go for a ride then here on this Wild Mouse, climbing up the lift hill. Just imagine them classic coaster sounds. Oh, I used to love it at Pleasure Beach. And here we go, straight round, not too fast into that first corner. Really get some nice views of the park, a little dip down, forward into that corner. Yeah, taking them, it's quite some speed, but I want them a bit faster, so here we go. Really picking up the speed now as we head round towards the first main drop. And then it takes it back up. into another corner. Yeah, it's really carrying the speed. Wow. I'm gutted for anyone that didn't get to experience Wild Mouse at Pleasure Beach, because it just was a beautiful ride, and you got some great views from up there at the park. And let's see what happens. It looks like the Bowlerdrome, the building around next to it, has all been removed now. So yeah, let's see what the future is for Pleasure Beach. Wow, it takes them corners fast, doesn't it? Oh my god, airtime. Whee! Really quite intense. I mean, these were intense rides, Oh, we had quite a few of these around in the UK at one point. It's such a shame. There was a lot of rumours, that the one that used to operate, well, it was at Southport and Frontierland in Morecambe, where it came from. There was rumours that Dreamland in Margate had that, all in storage. But when I've spoken to them down there, it's unfortunately something what's not going to be coming back, which is a shame. I'd love to see GCI go and build a more modern, safe version of this ride. It would be great to see in the future. But there you go. I'm not saying that Wild Mouse wasn't safe, but it was certainly one of them that it was rough around the edges, as I like to call it. You certainly wouldn't want to put your hands up in the air and wave them around like you just don't care whilst you're going around on that one. But yeah, you can see that. I'm pleased with that, the speed of it and everything. It's about the landscaping. It's about making it look pretty and fit in with this area of the park now. And you'll see in a moment, I'll start work on the station building and putting all that together. Now, as we move forward, I love reading all your comments on the videos. I always reply, heart your comments. And of course, I read every single comment on the videos. I dedicate as long as it needs each day to look through the comments. That's something that I've done since the start, and I've got no plans of stopping, because I love keeping the channel interactive and seeing what you guys think. But yeah, I'd like to know more suggestions on what you'd like to see built, because obviously we've had the exciting reveal from Frontier, of course the company that have built Planet Coaster. They have released another DLC, the Magnificent Rides Collection, available for $7.99, and it's well worth it. I have just installed it, and wow, we've got some excellent new rides that are going to work beautifully in my vintage park. And the one that I'm excited for the most is that traditional chairlift. I can't wait to add a cable car into this park. I think it'll be absolutely stunning. In fact, I think I'm going to do it in the next episode, because I really want to get stuck in and build. I've not really had much time to have a look at the pack yet, because I've been getting this episode ready. It's Christmas Eve, so I've been getting this ready to go out. But yeah, I can't wait to have a good explore with that. Probably on Boxing Day I'll have a little look, and in between going out to the sales I'll have a little look at that, and of course get the next episode ready, which will be online at some point within the week. Because as I say, with these, there's at least one new episode a week. As we go into January, where it's a bit more off season, could be 2 a week, because I've not really got much going on in January this year, planning a few other videos and stuff, so make sure you stay tuned for that all throughout January. But yeah, all leading up for a big 2019 with some awesome parks coming to the channel. As you can see there, starting work on the station building. Looks quite simple at the moment, but I do start to add some more details, including some turrets on the side as well. And as we can see here, just like the Scenic Railway, adding a traditional Wild Mouse sign to it as well. A lot of these older rides used to have big signs on them and drawing people in. The showman at the end of the day, it was about drawing people into the park, and that's what it was all about. And so I want to do that here. Originally, I planned to put that on the side of the building, then it didn't fit. I didn't really want to make the building any bigger, so I thought, let's put it up the top there. Then actually, I think it looks better up there, because you can see it from further outside the park, and that's the whole idea. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do at the front of the park yet in terms of a boundary. I don't really plan on covering it up too much, to be honest, because that's the idea with this. You want people to be attracted into the park, and if we're going back to like what the mid 1900s or whatever, what this park is supposed to be at this point, we're looking at that and thinking, oh wow, drawing people in. Oh, look at that ride, I want to go and ride it. So it's bringing people in with putting all the attractive lights on things and big banners and billboards and things. That was what it was all about back in the day, and in a way that's what theme parks still are now. I mean, I know there's a lot more parks that tend to go down the pay one price route now than there is amusement parks. Even Blackpool have sort of, you can still pay per ride if you want to, but it certainly works out a lot more expensive. You don't really see that many people around Pleasure Beach with ride tickets these days. You do still see them, but not like loads, nowhere near as many as you would do wristbands. So yeah, like with theme parks now, it's more about your marketing and advertising, isn't it? It's about, instead of making it look pretty when people walk past, it's about making it look better online, so people think, oh, let's go there and see it, And of course, when they step into the theme park, it's about impressing them by immersing them into different worlds. And that's something that I'm not going to be doing in this amusement park. I'm not doing any big grand theming structures like I've done before and things. It's just naturally beautiful. I want the buildings to look really pretty. I know a lot of people said back in episode 1 they want to see a bit more variety in some of the buildings, because these look very similar positions to what I've done with the past 2 parks. The main reason because is we're right at the front of the park here. I think it's wrong really if the buildings don't sort of face the front, if you know what I mean. So yeah, like with this one, I'm sort of facing all the buildings sort of to the front or to the side, and then when we move a bit further back, I'm going to start by doing some more diagonal buildings and things. I want it to look very sort of in blocks at the front of this park, because that's how a lot of old school amusement parks were, and Pleasure Beach is still very much in blocks today. You know, you can't really change that, and I'm glad they can't, because I really like it how it is. In a moment, you'll see that I actually add a chair swing in, which is just down on the left-hand side, and the queue line and everything for that is going in now with some more gardens, landscaping. Got a really nice Jester fountain package gone in there, with that typical sort of bit like the frog fountains at Alton Towers, you know, how it spurts across. And yeah, that's another ride in the park. We've already got, what, 6 rides now inside the park? So yeah, it's all coming together at 5 rides, sorry, and I've just built the show building ready for the 6th ride, which will be a fun house, and that's going in the large building just on the left hand side. But yeah, it's all coming together really nice. Obviously the area by the bandstand that I did in episode 1, you know, a nice little area to go around and get pictures and things of the wild mouse, and people just to stand there, enjoy a bit of live music, and yeah, enjoy the ambiance. And I'm really pleased with how the park's looking so far. I think it's got that feel that I definitely wanted, that classic amusement park, whether it's Tivoli in Copenhagen. I love Tivoli Gardens, and going there for the first time and seeing it all was great. I need to go back there actually and see it. Maybe at some point in 2019 if I can fit it in there. But yeah, it's a really nice park. Obviously Liseberg in Sweden, a park that I go to a lot. I've been there a couple of times this year. That sort of feel. And obviously you can even class the likes of Cedar Point as an amusement park. As much as there's a lot of big rides there, what would certainly be in a theme park, you know, it's got that very amusement park feel to it as well. I'd class it as a bit of both really, Cedar Point. You know, because it's got some amazing roller coasters, and that's what everybody talks about. But actually, there's some great flat rides. There's a really good selection of flat rides there, and some really nice areas that are very well landscaped and themed, you know. So it's one of those, isn't it? Yeah, it's interesting. What would you really class Cedar Point as? I suppose, you know, it is classed as an amusement park with a lot of people, but yeah, there's some areas of it that are just too nice, really. You know, you just wouldn't really think that, you wouldn't expect them to be there, but actually they are really, really nice, and it's a beautiful park. I really do enjoy it out there. As we can see then here, added in some more of the details on the buildings just around here, especially on the rooftop there, to my wild mouse, as you can see, putting all the little top points on, just making it look really pretty with all the lights and things. And that's what it's all about, like I say, with this park. It's about making it look pretty, and I'm really pleased that when you zoom out a little bit there and look over the park, you know, it does look really nice. Just doing the interior there for the Wild Mouse station. Again, not loads of theming needed, just nicely presented really with this one. Added in all those little details in there, and of course you've got the windows that are on the inside and the outside as well. And yeah, just sort of making sure that it all looks the same sort of feel around the front section. I mean, I'm planning to do this back section. Like I say, we've got this cable car what's just come in that I'm really looking forward to building. It's just come in on the new Magnificent Rides pack, and I can't wait for that. There's all sorts of new rides. There's actually another carousel as well, a bigger carousel, but I probably won't put that in like too soon, but I probably will put it in at some point. I don't want to replace my small carousel that I've got, because I like that there, and I don't think a big carousel would really fit in that location, but I'll probably add a second one. I mean, I know a lot of amusement parks and theme parks actually what I've got 2 carousels, you know, so I'll probably add that in later on. Along with that, the Schwarzkopf looping coaster, that's come in. I mean, that's definitely got to be built in this park. I think that'll be a really nice addition to this vintage park. But as always, keep your suggestions coming in, and I love reading the comments. As you can see here, I'm just working on the building now for the scenic. Just putting in a toilet block joined on next to it as well. I thought actually that'd be quite a nice spot for it, just next to the coaster. I like to try and put in toilet facilities and things right near to the big coasters, really, because a lot of people, I know it from when I go to theme parks, you know, you don't want to walk. I'm about to go on into the queue for a big ride, and oh god, where are the toilets? And you got to walk 10 minutes or whatever, you know. So I'm trying to think about that and putting toilet facilities near the entrance to the bigger rides. It's all them little things, isn't it, that you got to think about. And with this being a very compact park, you know, I want to make sure that I get it 100% right. It's a very different building style for me. I normally build theme parks. That's all I've built in Planet Coaster. When I used to play Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, I know I talk about it a lot, but I used to love Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. I still do, actually. I was on it the other night just having a mess about again. You know, I might do another Let's Play series at some point. You know, I know a lot of you liked my Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 one. You know, I'm certainly not ruling out doing another one at some point in the near future. But yeah, you know, like even in that, I didn't really build amusement parks. I was always into theming. So this is new territory for me, really. Here I'm putting in SR. It doesn't stand for single rider here. Scenic Railway. Just a nice little photo point at the entrance dome there to the ride. Again, not really theming, just some nice landscaping. And these big grand buildings, you know what we're putting in here. Got a very sort of, you know, grand sort of, oh wow, walking in all these dome structures and pyramids and things. That's what I want people to feel like when they walk in here. And that is what it was all about with these old school amusement parks. You make it look pretty and people will come in and they'll spend money. That's what it was all about. People are buying into the product at the end of the day, and I think that's very important in this day and age. I know there's a few parks out there, especially here in the UK, that, you know, I just don't feel like they get the brand across right. You know, one park, for example, I think Thorpe Park's one that's quite bad for it at the moment. You know, as much as they've got some fantastic rides, where are Thorpe Park going? Are they a thrill park? Are they a family park? You know, I don't know. I don't think they know, to be honest. I know they've had a new divisional director recently as well, you know, so hopefully that'll lead them into you know, a new way at Thorpe Park. I really hope so. You know, but yeah, it's just important for parks to have that identity. Alton Towers, you know, at least it knows its identity. It knows it's a family park with some great thrill rides, you know, and that's what I want this to be just here. You know, it's a family park, but it's going to have some old school, big, thrilling roller coasters. And I'm thinking about putting in a log flume. I'll sort of class it as like an old school arrow flume, the way I'll build it. I know the ones in game don't really look like them, but you know, well, they don't really look like Mack flumes either. The log flumes are quite funny in this game. That's one of the rides in Planet Coaster that I'm just not too keen on the design of, to be honest. But I'm loving the fact we've now got the Mack launch coasters in, the Mack Mega Coaster. That's now available. Don't think it'll come into this park, because I don't think it'll fit with it at all. Like I say, if I do build any big rides in this park later on, I'm still going to be keeping them very you know, traditional. I mean, you look at the likes of Tivoli when they built their B&M coaster, what they've got Dammon, it still fits in with the rest of the park. It doesn't really stick out like a sore thumb, and that's certainly not something that I want to do with this park, especially when I've spent so many hours so far putting it all together. But yeah, as you can see, we're a couple of minutes from the end of the video, and there you go. I'll be back with episode 3 at some point within the next week. As always, there will be at least one of these within every week. As we move into January, a bit of the off season, there might be 2 a week. It all depends on time, and obviously I'm planning for next year and getting all the videos ready and things. But you know, I'll film them when I can do, but there'll at least be a guaranteed one every week. I've stuck with that for quite a few weeks now, and that's what I intend to do moving forward. But there you go. Thanks for joining me, Sean Sandbrook, for another video here on Theme Park Worldwide. Have an absolutely wonderful Christmas. It's Christmas Eve. Go and have a nice time with your family and friends, whatever you may be doing. Enjoy Christmas Day tomorrow, and yes, stay tuned for the Phantasialand vlog that will definitely be coming tomorrow. Now, unfortunately, I had a few technical issues with it. I did put part 1 on YouTube. For some reason, cropped the video down to 14 minutes. So I've had to do a big re-render, and oh, it's been an absolute nightmare, but it will be coming on tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. Thank you very much for watching another episode of Let's Play Planet Coaster here on Theme Park Worldwide. And from the Vintage Park, that means it's time to cue those credits. Merry Christmas. See you in the next episode.